I have been recording videos for the past 2 weeks since about American Thanksgiving time. I've just been busy. All right, it's the holiday times. You're probably busy too, but you know what really helps? As long as you give me a like, a subscribe, a share, comment down below. With your help, we can grow this channel. We were told not to do this. We're going to grow 40,000 heads of lettuce, 60 to 80 days, and that'll be our test. We're going to do that a couple times. So I think the most we can do in a year is like 8 to 10 crops. So we're going to try to do that. But I think this land's going to end up being American pumpkin come March or April. I'm going to put my pumpkins in earlier this year and then try to gamble on that because I'm 0 for 2 on pumpkins. All right, let's go talk about the fun things and why I didn't share my harvest. Well, I did share my harvest. I just haven't posted videos for like 2 weeks. I still exist. I'm still not a figment of your imagination. Sweat isn't pouring from my face. Maybe that could be CGI. Maybe I CGI'd the sweat out of my face. But we'll go talk about Greenhouse 2 and the issues. So we're a little over 60 days in. We'll have second harvest on Saturday. We have to sync up our harvest to another farmer friend just because it's easier for them, easier for us. My guys right now are trellising in Greenhouse 1. I'll go over that as well. I don't encourage you to take dirty stuff and bring it into clean stuff. It's not a good practice either, so don't do that. I'm going to do it because, well, I'm lazy. I'm not going to change anything. All right, so in here, foot bath, I'll go talk about this. So here is Greenhouse 2. This is Rhizoctonia's Red Jet. That's Bachata, and that's Palermo. I'll show you that on the inside. Okay, but first we're going to go to science. I like science projects. Hope that you guys like science projects, and hopefully it's wispy. If not, I'll link a photo. But in here, can't really show it that well. I can't pronounce the name of this, but there's a nice wispy thing right there. That is bacteria. You can see the brown lesions. That is from the soil. That's not actually from our water source. That's the good news. We can still use our water source. We don't have to get commercial water just yet. But it's bad because you're losing about 20 plants a week. And the more that the plant puts on a fruit load, the more that it wilts, which is not good for production. If you're, I just broke my handle. All right, and maintenance, right? Maintenance is always a big thing. Okay, so here we go. We got a decent amount of fruit set, but we're suffering from what they call broad mite, and that will affect its growth. And then that'll also cause a plant apparently to wilt, but it also could be in the soil. If you notice, this part of the greenhouse is more affected by the soil because it's in the soil. It's moving around due to water. Here's the conundrum. If we treat for mite, which is more applications of water in a higher humidity environment, okay, you enable the soil bacteria to replicate itself, which is why you're seeing swaths of destruction in between here, because the more water you add, the more you irrigate, the more it spreads. So that's a conundrum. So the way you're going to treat for mite is we're going to use an ivermectin spray. We're going to use a sulfur, and we're going to treat the top. We're probably going to prune out some of the growth points. Good news is it's already setting a lot of fruit, so at least we get a little bit of yield out of that. Like I said, you need 8 peppers to break even on your plant. 8, just 8. So you need to get that together. So we're going to do that. But you can see we're starting to experience a lot of that bacteria, and it has decent sized fruit for that. So I can find a fruit that looks really good. The way you check for ripeness is you give it a little bit of squeeze, and if it's firm, then it's okay to harvest, right? So this one in the back is a little not. We're going to plan to harvest on Saturday. So we also learned what happens here. This is a good one. See where they lodge themselves in the center like this? This is not good. This is also, you have to pull them out. But because it put 2, you have to pick the pepper, okay? And then get it out of there, because you'll create pepper lodging, and where they just bunch up inside. Let's see if I can get that guy cleared, probably because I moved it. With our first harvest, they bunched up in the center, and they make deformed pepper. We want nice, consistent pepper sizes, and we're looking for about like 250 gram, maybe 300 gram pepper. No, we're not going for the crazy big one. Apparently there's another variety from Rhizoctonia that will grow a bigger variety. Here's a good pepper lodging. This is where it lodges, and you have to like free it. I can't, so it's going to be a reject, or just sold as a smaller one. There's another one over there. So in maintenance wise, you want to make sure that your peppers are free from the stems. That is probably why when you first saw my channel, we cut all the branches just to remove the pepper from ever doing it, because if there's nothing in the way, it's not going to lodge itself into its part. So even like full plants, they become more susceptible to the disease that's in the soil the more they load fruit. So we had a really good fruit set, good flower set. You're not going to see it until it starts taking on a bunch of fruit. Here's more lodging. So these just make bad ones. And they also stress the plant too, because they wedge inside of the plant. And you can see here, this was a nice plant, and then it wedged. And the more that it's setting that fruit, the more the bacteria is going to take it. There's nothing to do, there's nothing to spray, you can't treat it. It's in your plant now. Some rows will be better than others, like the back of the greenhouse from here looks pretty good. The TLDR, we got 100 days left in this house, which will take us to about 160, and then we'll call it a day. I'm gonna switch my fertigation to Yara. I'm not gonna spend the fancy master blend on it. We're gonna switch to a cheaper fertilizer. It's a good fertilizer, but it's just more designed for soil based. And we're gonna just call it a day, because it's just gonna cut my cost. Once you notice that you are having issues in your greenhouse and you have to do extreme measures to take care of it, that's the economical chance to cut it. So I'm choosing just to switch fertilizers. Luckily, it's very easy to get. Yara is very readily available globally. I'm not just like name dropping, like whatever. I know it's available in most people's countries, so that you can get that. So again, the goal is to get 8 fruit per plant. I think 12 is another number. I can't remember. That gets you 3 kilos. If I can get 8 to 12 fruits per plant on the remaining, I think I'm going to end up with about 1,200 plants at the end of this. I think I lose about that amount. I'm not going to worry too much about pruning any longer. I'm just going to work on sustainability on these. I don't think it's really worth it to keep trying to prune out, because you don't know which plant's going to live or die. Because let's see if I can show that, what I mean by that, as I walk backwards through this. You don't know which plant is getting affected, because the bacteria in the soil is moving through the water. So the more you spray water, the more you enable the bacteria to spread. The treatment of mite is to spray 4 times the amount of water on your plant. So you have your mite, you're going to spray a bunch of water, then you're going to spray ivermectin or sulfur or any other types, and you do that for about a week. Now you've just drenched on, when they say drench, they mean drench your plant. So now you're taking the disease and now you're pushing it into other plants that may or may not have been affected, or other parts of the greenhouse that may or may not have been affected. That is the issue. So now you're purposefully bringing the soil-borne issues to other parts of the greenhouse. I'm just showing good pepper footage. So the yield was great. This is Rhizoctonia Solani. The yield is good. I have no issues with that. The growing issues were mainly me, but that's why I do this channel. This is about a little over 3 weeks old. We had a lot of mite here on this side. Common at entryways. You can see why they're a little bit thinner and smaller. So we had mite here. We also have mite in the center over here. So they're going to come in during that, and it kind of looks like this. Now, as long as you don't touch it, it's not going to spread here. It's still baby. They don't have enough time. So that's where the water. Here, the water is going to work better. Don't worry about these plants falling over. They're falling over because they're chasing the sun. There's probably a shadow, probably by that shade net up top there. They're chasing the sun. So they're going like, oh, the sun's over here. I'm going to lean over there, right? So pretty easy to see that. So you can see that, all right, there's less sun in this area because they're getting all like wonky. Like this one's great right there. But what I'm doing right now is I'm looking for shoot thickening, which I'm going to probably have to boost up potassium sulfate. That's a 0050 with sulfur, and probably bring down the pH a little bit in my bags. I think it's still sitting at around a high 6. You can see here, these are newer plants. Okay, so they're not as bushy because these are the ones that got attacked. Like I said, I didn't upload it, but a week ago when I shot, you could definitely feel the heat. And then you can see here, these are also been mite attacked too. This is classic broad mite. As long as we don't touch it, then we can flush them out, drown them pretty much is what we're gonna do. If I haven't said it again, you're just gonna take, if you have a 20-liter backpack, times it by 4. So you're gonna do more water to less spray. In here, you're gonna start noticing that our dolomite, our dufos, everything that started that was pretty there, it's actually going down. The green is an algae. It's most likely a Ultra 88, I think is what it's called, or Neb 88. And it's a bio root stimulator, and that's probably what that algae ends up there. We also did a lot of EM sprays. So we had effective microorganisms because I'm applying micros into the newer cocoa peat plus the older cocoa peat to be able to actually develop the bag, break down the soil, and then provide that, because that's what helps a lot of the fertilizers become more effective, is you have more microbials that are continuing to break it down, and then you get better fertilized uses. We just do that because we want to take care of our soil, take our bags to near soilless, but still have the application of using microbes. So that's pretty much it. I don't notice too much other than that. The guys right now are doing my trellis method. This isn't mine, but this is from the book. It's like Greenhouse Vegetable Growers, and it's just a standard 2-head system. We don't do a 3-head system. So 2-head system, we're just gonna start with 6 inches apart on the top. So 1, 2, and that's 2 heads. And then we have like almost a meter in between each other. So 2 strings, and then we're just gonna only keep 1 head per string. And then you just separate it by 6 inches. So it would be like this, 6 inches, this 6 inches, and then this 6 inches. So then all the way down, you just do 6 inches on the wire. That's 6 inches, or more or less. You could tie it off, but I keep it loose just because it's just easier. We're going to end the video, but if you like the channel, give me a like, a subscribe, comment down below, ask me any questions, and we'll see you next week. Gotcha. That's what I said. You just have to watch my channel. Give me a like, subscribe, a share, comment down below, ask me any questions, follow me, then you can definitely grow anything.